Questions now from the party spokespeople. Conservative spokesperson Natasha Asghar.
Deputy Minister, in 2019, the Federation of Small Businesses Wales released a report called Are We There Yet? A roadmap to better infrastructure in Wales. It was based around a significant survey of work from the SME sector looking at the role of infrastructure. The survey found that 86% put investment in road infrastructure as quite or very important, making this the most important transport priority for them. Given that the road network is a key concern for the FSB members, and in the absence of further details, the freeze on new roads whilst a review takes place is worrying. So, Deputy Minister, can you advise whether your roads review panel will contain representatives of businesses in Wales and not just academics with an interest in transport and climate change? And how will you engage with small businesses to ensure their voice has an impact on decisions made here in Wales? Thanks.
Well, I think all businesses need to have an effective integrated transport system, and that includes sustainable transport as well as road transport. We've been very clear that this roads review is not saying we're never going to build any roads again. It is saying that the challenge that all of us face, businesses especially, of an unstable environment and an unstable economy from the climate emergency requires a new approach. And we need to methodically understand how much carbon headroom we have to spend on road schemes, which, as we know, generate additional journeys and additional traffic, and how we go ahead that with our investment decisions in the years ahead, and what more we can spend on maintaining the roads we have and improving public transport so people have a real alternative. And I would have hoped, given all that she said about the importance to be bold and to make decisions to tackle head-on the net zero challenge, she would have been supportive of that, rather than trying to whip up opposition where really none ought to exist.
Thank you, Minister, for not answering the question. I was actually asking about participation in the actual plan that's going ahead, not actually what you answered. But anyway, next question. Can I please ask the Minister for more detail about tackling the problems of air quality and congestion? How are issues of congestion and air quality going to be taken into account in the road building review, and will the panel adopt an evidence-based approach taken from experiences and studies of such improvements from projects like the recent bypass for Llandeilo, Carnarvon and Porthmadog?
Yes, well, absolutely. And to apologise for not directly answering every part of the first question, so let me address it now. We will absolutely be looking at air quality and what to do in situations where there is a real problem with air quality. You know, at the moment, the often default response to that is to build a bypass. And simply going on building bypasses not only diverts funding away from more sustainable forms of transport, but also culminatively adds to the problem of a car-centric and car-dependent society. So that in the medium to long term, that does not help the solution. Clearly, the move to electric cars, to decarbonise cars at a tailpipe end, will help areas of traffic congestion from the air quality point of view, and there are other things we can look at too. So the panel have been explicitly asked to look at that, and they will absolutely be formed of experts. We're not, again, we are not going for a representative body of every stakeholder. We're going for a focused team of experts who understand the evidence, understand the challenges of delivery. So, for example, I very much hope that we have a local authority representative as part of that group to understand what needs to be done at a local level.
Okay, thank you very much. The signal that public transport is a priority is welcome and genuinely welcome. However, the timescales involved in infrastructure strategy, including public transport improvements, are long and cannot address immediate problems. How will you take into account the time lag here, bearing in mind the need to ensure gaps in infrastructure needs are filled in the interim? Will this form part of the review process, and will you undertake to progress studies into projects such as the Chepstow bypass and a motorway junction on the M48, where the 7 toll booths used to be, to relieve congestion on the M4? Thanks.
Well, I fear not. We're not really. There isn't really a meeting of minds really on this one, despite attempts by both of us to persuade the other one. I don't think we're going to. I don't think endless bypasses and motorway studies is going to help either with the problem of congestion in the immediate term, or indeed, especially not with the problem of air quality or of carbon reduction. So we flatly disagree, as we've discussed before, on the best approach for this. Now, she can keep raising this at every possible opportunity, and we can keep having the same arguments, or we can try and work on some solutions which achieve our joint goals of making Wales better. But simply repeating the same hackneyed lines is not going to get us very far.
Plaid Cymru spokesperson Delith Jewell.
Diolch, Llywydd. Minister, community energy has a crucial